Hiring for your small business? If you're not looking for professionals on LinkedIn, you're looking in the wrong place. That's like looking for your car keys in a fish tank. LinkedIn helps you hire professionals you can't find anywhere else, even those who aren't actively searching for a new job but might be open to the perfect role. In a given month, over 70% of LinkedIn users don't even visit other leading job sites. So start looking in the right place. With LinkedIn, you can hire professionals like a professional. Post your free job on linkedin.com/achieve today.
George Clooney and Brad Pitt's new movie Wolves is on Apple TV Plus September 27th.
That's where I want you to be now.
So if you want to see George Clooney and Brad Pitt, go to Apple TV Plus.
You got to start the story there.
Or if you want to see Brad Pitt and George Clooney, go to Apple TV Plus.
I am enjoying the show.
And if you want to see their new movie Wolves,
you can't do it, I'm going to help you out. I can do it. So do it.
Definitely go to Apple TV Plus.
Admit it, it's cool. Okay, fine, it was very cool.
Wolves, streaming September 27th on Apple TV Plus. Rated R.
Entertaining and informative.
This is Sid and Friends in the Morning.
77 WABC.
Dear hero imprisoned, with all the new crimes that you are perfecting. Oh, I can't help quoting you, 'cause everything that you said rings true. And now in my cell,
The Smiths, 7:56. Great song, Morrissey, Tuesday morning. My man Rich Lowry is the editor of the Nat Review. You also see him, well, his stuff is syndicated in the New York Post all the time. NBC, Political, Fox News, a lot of Fox News. It's funny how Rich, when we first became friendly, before you bought me lunch too at a Greek place here in New York City.
That's right.
You were doing a lot of your stuff on NBC with our mutual old friend there, Chuck Todd. But now I think I see you more on Fox News than the liberal networks. And lately you've been talking to Donald Trump, too. So what's happened to you, Rich?
Well, I was in exile for a little while, but it's good to be back at Fox. And, what I learned, I had an NBC contract for a bit, and I'd be on the Today Show. And since I'm, a child of the 80s, like, wow, I was on the Today Show. I could be walking down the street, and everyone could be high-fiving me.
Sure.
No one, crickets, nothing.
Nothing.
No one I knew ever saw the Today
Is that,
Show.
Wait. But you were on after the days of, I guess, Brian Gumbel and Katie Couric, yes? After that?
No, yeah, like 3 years ago.
Oh, of course. Someone watches that. Savannah Guthrie.
So
and
I go on, Outnumbered, and then everyone's, hey, I saw you. So,
at least you get on that show. I've been begging Harris Faulkner for years. I can't get on, but
you'd be
no.
a natural. Well, I've only been on once recently.
Right.
You'd be a natural.
Thank you for saying that. Brian Kilmeade has told him that. Janine Pirro has told him that. Exactly what you just said. A natural, and they don't do it anyway.
The ladies would be swooning for you on the couch.
Kilmeade actually said, last week I was on Kilmeade's show, One Nation, and he did a segment where he had me and Tommy Lahren going back and forth on the issues in the city, and he said, people don't realize this, but we get ratings on every segment, and he said, you and Lahren killed it. But I think a lot of people at Fox News don't like me, so they've got their own reasons. That's fine. Not everybody uses me, but that's okay. You're great. I love seeing you on Fox News, and I guess you'll be coming on to talk about the newest thing, which is this. For some reason, people really care about the fact that Kamala Harris will be the first White House candidate since Walter Mondale to not go to the Al Smith dinner on October the 17th. Trump is going, but she's not. And they're making a big deal about that. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, obviously no one's going to vote on this issue, but it's a nice tradition. Our politics obviously got much more hostile. So this is one night where everyone can have a collegial evening together and poke fun at each other. And she's not going to do it. That's a shame. And two, it just speaks to, she's out there a little bit now, but they're still scared of having her out there too much and have to interact spontaneously in an environment that they can't control or doesn't have really friendly interviewers. So this is really a damning indictment of her. And it's not we're not the ones who think this of her, or we do think this of her, but it's really telling that the people who are closest to her, interact her with her most, and most want her to win, think this of her.
Yeah, it's true. It's a scene here right now. I'm, of course, on 49th and 3rd, and right outside my window here, Rich. And early in the morning, I arrive here at 4:45 a.m., and it is already loaded with cops on motorcycles, police cars, barricades, this being the UN General Assembly week. And today's a big day because, and it's ironic, you get the Iranian president speaking today, and you get our president, two buddies there, Iran and the United States. Joe Biden is about to drive down this block, literally in an hour, and he's going to make the last UN speech of his presidency, which has been really become a joke. I mean, I'm sorry. He was a bad president before, but he was president. Now, no one knows who's running the country. His wife, Jill, actually ran a cabinet meeting a couple days ago. Most people think Obama currently is running the country. What do you think is going on here?
So, one of the crazy things, Sid, if there hadn't been for that debate, they'd still be telling us right now he's fit to serve. You got to vote for him. He's hale and hearty. First ladies chair cabinet meetings all the time. What are you talking about? You're making it up. I mean, it was such a dastardly lie, and they just moved on from it like nothing happened.
Like nothing. Yeah. And Harris, who Trump of course says to her at the debate, he hates you. Talking about Biden, she goes about her business every day. She's in this state, that state, this state, that state, and she barely even mentions Biden. Barely.
Yeah, well, I mean, she should probably do more to separate herself from him. And this is one of the more disturbing poll results recently. I think it was in the NBC poll. She now leads Trump on who will bring change to the country. That's a bad sign. He's got to win that debate with her. And it's so winnable, right? I mean, she's a sitting vice president. Right there in this administration that people consider failed, and want to go away. So that's a big problem. And I hate to say it, Sid, they've run a pretty good campaign given the material they have to work with.
Well, they're smart. You know why? Because they made it very clear from the very beginning. And I think this was smart. When everybody was complaining, hey, where's all the policy? And the Dems said, nah, we don't care. Let him policy up the ass. We don't care. We're going to save this country from the ultimate evil, from the divide, from the anger. So they found a way to convince these dummies in the United States that the issues here, it's more about personality than policy. You see, me, I vote for policy over personality.
Yeah.
But the Dems, knowing that she can't win on that, are now selling personality over policy. And she can win on that.
Yeah, it's funny you say that because I'm at a retreat for a conservative group, and there was a pollster with fresh data, and nothing very surprising. The race is tied, in case you're wondering. Yeah. But the guy who was interviewing him for this little group asked, so Trump leads on the economy, on inflation, on the border, so he should win, right, or should have an advantage? And the guy said, well, if voters actually vote on those things.
Right.
So
right.
Getting to exactly what you're putting your finger on.
Yeah, I mean, he comes out, and like Jewish people are mad at him because he said, if I lose the election, I'm going to have to blame the Jews. He's right. He's 100% right. He's 100% right. And then, he goes on to talk about how she hates the Jews, obviously. And Bibi's in town this week. He's going to speak on Friday. Poor Bibi, there's about as many people protesting him as there are Trump. Alan Dershowitz yesterday talked about the Bibi derangement syndrome. So even with Israel, I mean, he has been absolutely perfect, Trump. Not good, perfect. And yet Jews, they get angry anytime he says something, while the Democrats, who are out there literally clapping for the other team, they don't care when they talk. But if Trump says, if I lose, it's because of the Jews get upset.
Yeah, I mean, we also just have this totally perverse dynamic now where we basically had this lab experiment where Israel carried out the most precise mass counterterrorism operation ever, right? They relied on Hezbollah to target its own operatives by giving them the pagers with explosives. And they're still accused of war crimes. So they bomb in response to terror attacks, they're accused of war crimes. They go in the ground in response to terror attacks, they're accused of war crimes. They use Hezbollah's own pagers against them, they're accused of war crimes. And this thing where Hezbollah just gets to launch like 8,000 rockets over the last year, and Israel's not supposed to respond.
Yeah.
And when it responds, they're the ones guilty of escalation.
Yeah.
It's mind-boggling.
Yeah, you can't make it up. And Jewish people are going to vote for the party who is actually pushing the narrative you're talking about, which is the Jews are the ones, Bibi and Israel, they're starting all this, which, of course, as you just pointed out, is ridiculous. All this is in defense. Finally, you're a New York guy. And you see what's going on in this city. Every day somebody else resigns. Every day there's another subpoena. We thought there were 3 countries that Eric Adams may be involved with in terms of corruption. Now there turns out to be 6, including Israel. I mean, this is embarrassing. I know he's never going to resign because that's an admission of guilt. But, my God, this guy is turning out to be a real loser.
Yeah. I mean, he sounded good, but he always seemed he was a little bit of a flake. We've talked for a long time about how ineffectual he was, and there were signs, maybe something doesn't smell so great here. So he's bringing the worst of what New York City politics used to be, and we just needed to be more grateful. I was really annoyed by Michael Bloomberg, but the Giuliani-Bloomberg years were miraculous in terms of New York City governance. It's never going to get better, and now we've. That guy that was it de Blasio? He was a debacle, and now we're into a corrupt debacle.
Right,
it's
right,
horrible.
Right. De Blasio was the most ineffective politician ever. This guy is a very, very close second, and he's corrupt. It looks that way, at least. He's allegedly corrupt. So it's ugly. Hey, another great appearance. Oh, Yankees could be all over tonight.
Yeah, so they could make the World Series. I'm still skeptical they'd win a World Series, and the Mets are still in a wild card spot.
Yes, they are. Big 3-game set in Atlanta. We may be looking. The Mets have been the best team in baseball record-wise for 3 months. So who knows?
My theory, it's better to be surprised by a team being good than have a good team be good.
Right,
right. You know what I mean?
That's true. No, I know, because the expectations.
I had Mets fan friends so despairing, a month or a month and a half ago. So
now look at us now. And then the Yankees, of course, all you hear about in New York every other day, Aaron Boone needs to be fired. Aaron Boone needs to be fired. Now the Yankees lead the American League with 92 wins. They're about to wrap up the AL East tonight. They're about to wrap up the whole league in 2 or 3 days, and I don't hear anybody asking for Aaron Boone to be fired. That's why sports talk is so ridiculous.
I hate to say it, though, the biggest story, obviously, I wish you were Aaron Judge, is Ohtani, because 6 for 6 with 3 homers, 2 doubles, 10 RBIs, 17 total bases, 2 stolen bases in one game.
Yeah,
and
one
he's
game.
catching up to Judge on total homers.
Yeah.
And he can pitch. Someone was telling me they might use him as a reliever in a pinch in the playoffs.
In the playoffs, yeah.
Amazing.
Well, he's had an unbelievable year. He's going to win the AL MVP, NL MVP. Judge will win the AL MVP. And both of those guys go down in history as 2 of the greatest offensive players ever. And you, Rich, you go down in history as a great offensive player, too. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Very well done. This is why you're the champ. Thanks, Sid.
Thank you, Rich. I love that guy, the editor of the National Review, NBC, Politico, Fox News, you name it, Rich Lowry.